Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers and determining whether or not I think they can make the playoffs in 2021. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, comment down below. I want to hear from you guys, especially the Panthers fans. Who do you want to see the Panthers take at number 8 overall in the upcoming 2021 NFL Draft? Comment your thoughts down below. But getting into the topic, I know this seems pretty bold. Yes, they added Sam Darnold, but really, is he enough? He's still on the verge of being a franchise guy or on the verge of being a bust. So it's kind of a bold take because we don't know where Sam Darnold is at. But outside of him, the biggest question mark on that team, and there's a question mark in the coaching staff, Matt Rule, he seems to be a decent guy for the Panthers, but still, he's only had one season with them as well. So there's a couple question marks on the team, but there are some for sure things that the Panthers have going for them. Getting back a top 3 running back in the league, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, any defense, Christian McCaffrey just runs over every single team in the NFL. It doesn't matter, especially if you have him on your fantasy team or ever have had him on your fantasy team. You know he's the ultimate weapon at the running back position both ways. Running the football and receiving the football, he's just an absolute animal. In the receiving core, you have a proven Robbie Anderson, who's, I don't want to say a top-tier wide receiver by any means, but a reliable guy who has some chemistry with Sam Darnold. And then you got and kind of up-and-coming and emerging DJ Moore, a very quick wideout in himself. The receiving core isn't too shabby. Run game is coming back. Offensive line isn't pretty by any means, but number 8 overall pick, that was kind of saving that for the end of the video, but at number 8 overall, you might be able to pull off a Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater to really be a key leader and key guy for this offensive line. And then looking at the defense, you got some, losses this past year after releasing some guys. I think they were planning on trying to make a big haul for Deshaun Watson, but there's still a good foundation there with Shaq Thompson, Denzel Perryman, adding him, and Hassan Reddick, having Derek Brown. I like adding the low-risk cornerback of A.J. Boye to help out the emerging Jeremy Chin and Dante Jackson. So the foundation on defense is there, and same thing in the draft, they can add 1 to 2 more pieces. They gave up a 2nd, 4th, and 6th round pick for Sam Darnold, but the 2nd and 4th round pick come into effect in the following year. So this year, all they've lost is a 6th round pick, and they got their starting guys. So overall, on defense and offense, this Panthers team is not too bad. You got a decent receiving core, a reliable receiving core nonetheless, a great running back, a defense that's foundation is there. They just have to click on paper. It is all the way, though. And looking at their schedule, it's not too bad itself. Yes, in their division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't see them having a single shot at facing the Buccaneers or beating the Buccaneers out and winning the division. But looking at a wild card spot, I think it is possible in your own division. You might be able to go 3-3. You'll probably get swept by the Bucs, so you have a decent chance at, sweeping the Saints or sweeping the Falcons and splitting with one of the others. Or maybe who's to say you can't go 4-2, get swept by the Bucs, but sweep the other 2 teams, Saints and Falcons. I think they'll maybe sweep the Saints and split with the Falcons. The Falcons are coming together, hopefully in their sake. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and maybe a Kyle Pitts. That's a tough offense for the Panthers to take on and beat twice. So who's to say they can't sweep them and go 4-2? But conservatively, I'm going to say they go 3-3 in that division. Then they play the NFC East. And while the NFC East is definitely the worst division in football, it is not going to be a below 500 division like it was last year, in my opinion. You got a emerging Washington football team who stole the Panthers receiver and Curtis Samuel. I don't want to say stole, but definitely Panthers lost him, Washington added him, and then you got Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is a question mark. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that could be an advantage to the Panthers. The Giants, same thing. They added Kenny Galladay and Adoree Jackson, but still, what is Daniel Jones? And the Cowboys, offense looks good. Defense, Eagles, the Panthers could take the Eagles just fine. So in that division, I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers go anywhere from 2-2 to 4-0 across the NFC East. Their 17th game of the year is against the Houston Texans, and at this rate, they're free-falling when it comes to the next season because it's looking like they won't have Deshaun Watson. So, Panthers, they don't have an overall bad schedule. Outside of the Buccaneers, their own division, Saints and Falcons are beatable. NFC East is beatable. The Texans, their 17th game is definitely winnable. They play the AFC East. Yeah, you'll have to deal with the Bills and the Patriots and the Dolphins, but I think Sam Darnold could take on his old team of the New York Jets, and I think he could steal one from the Pats or Dolphins and Bills and maybe go 2-2 against the AFC East. And I know these are a lot of 2-2 records, but we saw the Bears last year make 8-8. Well, they went into the playoffs at 500 and stole a playoff spot. I'm not saying the Panthers is a team that'll make the playoffs and do some damage, but I do think this roster can hold its own and steal a wild card spot. They'll be competing with some tough teams. The NFC West, there's expectations that entire division might make the playoffs between a healthy Niners and Jimmy G and then possibly new and upcoming rookie quarterback. We always know Russell Wilson's going to be a threat. Matt Stafford to the Rams, that's expected to maybe be a Super Bowl team. Then the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, D-Hop, A.J. Green. That team's very competitive as well. J.J. Watt on that team. So Panthers definitely going to have to fight one of them out. And then the Vikings, I think I'm pretty fond of the Vikings as well. Panthers, it won't come easy, but I do think they have a shot. It's just all going to depend on Sam Darnold and Matt Rule. Will they click? Will Sam Darnold be worth the trade? Will he be their franchise guy moving forward? We will have to see. I have faith in Sam Darnold, and I'm a Bucs fan, and I'm even rooting for Sam Darnold. I'm not going to root for him so much that I hope he takes down the Bucs, but I do wish him the best, and I'd like to see them get in a wild card spot. I don't want to see them get in and knock off the Bucs in the playoffs, but I do, like I said, wish the best for him and want him to turn his career around. I think he kind of got gypped with the Jets. I think we're seeing a good example. Ryan Tannehill had to deal with head coach Adam Gase. He went to the Titans with a good coach and a good founding team, and he turned his career around. Sam Darnold, the same thing. He's away from Adam Gase, and he's got a brand new head coach and a team that has a much better roster than he was used to. Better receiving core, better running game. I mean, Sam Darnold's going from Frank Gore to Christian McCaffrey. Tell me that's not probably the best upgraded running back in the NFL. So I seriously do think this team can be a playoff team. Will they? I'm going to let the draft determine it. At number 8 overall, Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater. I think they should go one of those two ways to get Sam Darnold the protection. You got him a decent receiving core you can rely on, and you can work on it in further rounds. In the second round, you can maybe pick up a Kadarius Toney if you fail, or Rashad Bateman, or Kendall Moore if you want to add to the receiving core. Or maybe you want to look at the cornerbacks, maybe an Asante Samuel Jr. Now you got a pretty good secondary with the addition of A.J. Boye and an emerging Jeremy Chin. Asante Samuel Jr., that would be a good addition. Either way, second round, I think you should look at receiving core. And at number 8, you look at offensive line. Unless a Kyle Pitts falls, or somehow, some way he is available, I'm jumping on that. Giving Sam Darnold an absolute X-Factor type of weapon. The dude's being compared to Megatron. If I'm the Panthers, I am jumping on that for sure. But assuming that won't happen, I seriously think Kyle Pitts doesn't fall past the Falcons, Bengals, Dolphins. And even the Lions at 7, I think, would take Pitts if he was available, even though they have TJ Hawkinson. I don't see Pitts falling. If he does, though, sweep him up. But in a realistic scenario, Penei Sewell, he might not be available as well, but in my opinion, Rashawn Slater will be there all the way. And the good thing about Rashawn Slater, he could play the position 1 through 5 on that offensive line. He could be interior, or he could be your starting tackle to protect Sam Darnold on the edge. We saw Northwestern versus Ohio State. Rashawn Slater on Northwestern took on Chase Young pretty well when they played in college, showing he could play NFL caliber players. So on the Panthers, I'm going protection. Sam Darnold's already pretty much got an offensive line relatively better than what he did with the Jets, but anything can help this guy turn his career around. I'm going offensive line. It's kind of this, I don't want to say the safe pick, but the expected pick that was expected to turn out and had the highest odds of being successful. So to me, I'm going that route, and I seriously think if you get him an I won't say all-pro left tackle rookie year, but you saw what a star rookie tackle did in Tristan Wirfs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, Tom Brady helped him out, obviously, but Tristan Wirfs was an important factor to protecting Tom Brady, and Sam Darnold, I think he needs a similar effect of getting protection, and I seriously think he can guide this team to the playoffs, but we'll just have to see. Injuries is always an issue. Will we see CMC go back-to-back injury seasons? I doubt it, but it's always an issue. This team needs to be healthy. They need Sam Darnold to be an immediate fit, and Matt Rule has to be the guy they expect him to be. A lot of question marks and a lot of things are needed, but on paper, I do believe the talent is there to steal a 7th seed spot. Again, they're not going to win the division by any means. This Bucs team is looking like one of the best teams of all time, in my opinion. So I just don't see them beating that out. But I wouldn't be surprised if this Panthers team could go 10-7 or 11-6. That's kind of bold. I think 10-7 is kind of their peak. But you could slip into the playoffs at 10-7. Yes, Miami Dolphins last year 10-6 missed the playoffs, but playoffs are a different scenario every single year. And I think this team could slip in. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Sam Darnold, hopefully some protection on that offensive line. In the secondary, Jeremy Chin, an emerging safety, A.J. Boye. I think he's a really low-risk play to help out Dante Jackson, Denzel Perryman, Shaq Thompson, Derek Brown, Hassan Reddick, who's a very, I don't want to say underrated pickup, but they got him on a hell of a deal and a great value price. So overall, on paper, this Panthers team is ready to win. They already won, I don't want to say already, won 5 games last year, but they won 5 games last year, and they look twice as better than they did last year already today with a healthy CMC, with a brand new quarterback, with some pass rush additions, with an emerging Jeremy Chin, AJ Boye, like I said, and Matt Rule having another year in the NFL under his belt already, and having some chemistry with this team. I do think this team is relatively twice as better as they were last year in the NFL draft. Is kind of the only thing, me being on the edge of how good they will be. I want to see what they do at the number 8 overall pick. Hopefully, they don't go quarterback in Justin Fields and have a quarterback room full of Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, and Teddy Bridgewater. That's going to create some chaos and mess. Not to say it will be Justin Fields, but I just hope they don't go quarterback at number 8 and create a bunch of controversy and they don't know their identity. Invest in Sam Darnold, see what you got out of him, and get him a skill-based positional player that he can use or rely on, whether it be defense, protection, or a weapon to throw to. Don't go quarterback, in my opinion. That's just, I think it was a smart move before you traded for Sam Darnold, but since you're invested in him, to invest in him. I don't want to say put all your eggs in one basket, but at least see what those eggs in the basket can do. But overall, guys, comment down below. Do you think this Panthers team can make the playoffs? Like I said, I think they could slip in as a 7th seed, but we'll have to see how good Sam Darnold is. Is Matt Rule the coach of the future? And what do they do at number 8 overall? So there's a lot of variables that the Panthers need to play out in their favor, but we will have to see. Like I said, comment down below. And of course, comment who you think they should take at number 8 overall in the first round of the upcoming draft. Like I said, I want them to go protection and Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, whichever is available. We'll have to see. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-1.